Hey, Good Fox here. So we got the Madden mechanics coaching adjustments today. The blog came out this morning, but you guys are seeing it like the next day because a day late and a dollar short, that's my motto. That's how I live my life. So we're going to go through the coaching adjustments. I'm going to give my thought on what the move is to go with right away and what I kind of think about them and try to analyze and interpret how we're going to use them going into 18. All right, so coaching adjustments, popular feature in the NCAA. You can get to them, like they say in the blog. I'll link it in the description through the coaching adjustment through the play call screen, and there's a button for it. That's about it there. By default, each adjustment is set to balance. So this means the standard gameplay conditions apply based on the mode the user is in. Between the mode is competitive, simulation, arcade. Here's a complete list of coaching adjustments. All right, defensive adjustments, auto flip. I left mine on this year. I know a lot of people left theirs off. I think if you have a balanced formation, off is the move to go. But I ran a lot of nickel, so I left it on to flip to help against the run frequently. Nickel 3-3-5. With the nickel normal, you didn't really need to flip it as much. You could just shift your linebackers, like you saw a lot of people do with the nickel blitz. Ball in air defense, play ball. AI will play the ball in a two-man catch situation. Now, you can override this with user controls, and especially like for deep down the field passing, that's something that this won't really come into play because you can select just a swat, and you're going to want a swat. But basically the pro, if you go to play ball aggressive, increased chance of an interception, but increased chance of the wide receiver catching the ball, increased chance of a broken tackle. Play receiver, AI will play the receiver in two-man catch situation. So this is what I hate. Decreased chances of a broken tackle. I don't understand why you'd ever play receiver in this location if they're not going to swat the ball. Like, if they're going to catch it and you're just going to tackle them, that feels like to me like you're just giving up. I don't think I will be putting my option on play receiver unless I hear from other community members that play receiver is broken and everybody should switch to play receiver. And at that point, I'll let you guys know that it's happening, but I do not expect play receiver to be used by too many people. And then con is no chance of interception. This is why. But swat ball, and this is why like, AI will attempt to swat in a two-man catch situation, increased chance of knocking out the ball, no chance of interception. So this is why I don't think you want swat ball on. I think you want play ball. And I said aggressive, just put it on play ball. So that way your guys, when the ball in air, is going to go for the interception. But if it's at a deep throw and you don't want to be caught over, you can switch it up and you can swat the ball yourself anyways. So there's no reason to do play ball, play receiver, swat ball. In my opinion, I think the turnovers in Madden are what changes games. So go for the turnover type defense. That's what I'm going to be starting off in 18 is go for the aggressive type defense. And we'll get through more of that. And I think you really need, in general, to go with the aggressive start off with a couple exceptions I'll get to start to Madden 18, see how it plays, and then maybe adjust back to balanced if you need to. So the option defense, conservative, focus on the QB and the option. And the con is dive and pitch left open on the option. I think the move here, again, is aggressive. Focus on the dive and pitch and the option because the QB scramble mechanics are so terrible in Madden that they're oftentimes very slow behind the line of scrimmage. So I think you leave the quarterback open because they also generally have the worst carrying. And if you can get a stick on that quarterback, you have a much better chance of having them fumble the ball unless, of course, they have, say, the Cam Newton with 91 carry here we got at the end of the year. All right, pass rush conservative. Outside rushers play QB contain and AI defensive line will look to swap passes. That's kind of cool, especially like a scrambling quarterback, but get no jump the snap bonus, more time in the pocket for the quarterback. Aggressive, AI pass rushers will attempt to jump the snap, which is neat. Higher chance of offside penalty, and pass rushers will also be fatigued. Now, I don't know how much fatigue will play into salary cap because that's a low fatigue mode. So I think those guys might want to go aggressive right out of the gate. And I think even for Mutt, I'm going to go aggressive out of the gate too. And maybe think about a rotation of some kind. Like I do a lot of 3-4, then switch to 4-3. So maybe have a good depth. I don't know if we'll see what the fatigue does. But I think I'm still going aggressive there, even though you can get the offsides penalty. So the meta might move to trying to get these guys by doing a fake hike. And we'll see how much the offensive line also false starts on fake hikes there, because that's kind of the killer of fake hike in this year, in my opinion. You don't see it as much because the O-line generally jumps quite a bit. All right, strip ball conservative pro lowers the tackle chances. Okay. ANet will attempt to strip. Madden, in my opinion, like I said before, is a turnover-based game. I think you want to go aggressive here too. and a higher chance for AI to attempt the strip for a higher fumble chance, because the AI generally goes for strips and strip type situations, like if they're running behind a guy or on the side. They're not going to like square up to a guy then go for the strip. Like the AI generally does the tackling straight on, and you're going to see like a hit stick. We'll get to that in a second. And then the aggressive at the strip at higher chance of broken tackle and a face mask penalty, which we will have to tune and see how badly these face mask penalties are. Again, this is something I suggest going aggressive with right away, because the strip ball, like in Madden 17, it was such like a bend but don't break type of year and try and stop him near the goal line or get a turnover. So I think go with aggressive, take the face mask penalty. Sure, it's 15 yards, but who knows how frequently. If it's going to happen like once a game, then you don't want that aggressive on. Once a game is too much. But if it's less than that, like once a season, then I'm definitely turning it on. All right, tackling conservative. The AI will tackle conservatively. Okay, well, they'll just do a wrap-up tackle and increase the chance of allowing yards after contact. So you're going to get trucked. But it's going to be like a drag-down defense. And now this tackling I want to get into more. I'll go through aggressive. AI defenders hit sticks tackle for higher fumble chance, and then the con is higher chance to miss tackle. Now, this tackling is kind of an interesting thing. You could play two completely different styles of defense just with this tackling adjustment. So if you go with the aggressive style, you're going to want to get yourself some big hitters. The guys that have the high hit power, because the higher the hit power, the better chance at forcing not only getting the tackle, but forcing the fumbles and turnovers, because I've tested in the past, hit power also increases tackle chance on those hit sticks. But then on the other side, the other pendulum, if you go conservative style, you get yourself a bunch of small, fast, more coverage guys like a Deion Sanders type that like are just flying around the field, and they'll make it, but they'll wrap them up. So they'll be making more plays like in the pass game, like catching balls and intercepting, but you'll be able to just drag them down, and you won't be as worried about them trucking and not being able to make the play and the tackle, because you'll just wrap them up and drag them down, and then you'll reset for the next play. So against a heavy run team, I don't know what I myself like the hitters. I like guys that hit, but against a guy like a heavy pass team, and you just kind of want to like wait for him and make them make a screw up, make them get a couple yards at a time. I could see conservative working for that, like making them really earn every like first down and make them have to grind the clock out on you. All right, offensive adjustments. Ball carrier. Conservative, the pro ball carrier protects the ball, decrease fumble chances. Con, decrease the ability to break tackles. I hate that. Aggressive, higher chance of triggering auto break tackles, and con, increase fumble chances. So I'm not going to go into aggressive with like Adrian Peterson, for example, because he himself already has a high chance of fumbling the ball. So aggressive, I think, is more for like the big bruisers that have high carrying. I don't know what Henry's carrying is going to be next year, but I think myself will be turning on aggressive if I feel comfortable enough with their carrying stat, and we'll see how they auto break tackle and how much more auto break tackle it is. Again, I do like to play an aggressive style of Madden. Blocking, conservative, decreased chance of holding penalty. Now, I don't think you should ever put conservative blocking in MUT salary cap head-to-head, just because there's going to be no penalties in those modes unless you put on aggressive. So with that, aggressive, I still think might not be the move here, because a holding penalty basically, I don't want to say it kills a drive, but it really demotivates you. And maybe if you have a lower overall team and you need your blocks to hold longer for run and pass, like say you get a ground focused game, but your opponent's got like a 10-point higher team, so you gotta take more risks in order to win that game. Maybe that's when you go aggressive. But if you're the better team, if you got the better line, I think you stay unbalanced here and you just leave it and don't go to aggressive. So for the blocking, I won't be going to aggressive right away, even though it might be worth testing. But that's my opinion on that. All right, deep pass catching, conservative. Receivers will attempt to rat catch, increase run after catch. So this is deep pass catching. So with deep passes, you're going to have enough time to click on and decide for yourself based on the situation. So this is something I'm going to leave standard because each situation, each deep pass, which is over 40 yards, considered that's the Madden standard. Like a short pass is 0 to 20 yards, intermediate is 20 to 40, and deep is over 40. An over 40-yard pass will easily be able to be clicked on and chosen by yourself. So that's going to leave deep pass catching balance, because I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Intermediate pass catching, Pro receivers will go for an attempted possession catch, and aggressive receivers will attempt a rack or aggressive catch. Now, 20 to 40 yards is an interesting area. If you're throwing the ball 20 to 40 yards, you're probably past the first down marker, so you're not as worried. You probably have enough time, one, to click on and choose your catch, and two, or not even click on, just choose your catch. And two, I think this is, I'll probably leave this unbalanced, but I might go to conservative because I don't want guys, because in the 20 to 40 yards, you're in between zones, you're near defenders, so you're going to get smacked. I think this is the only one that I'd potentially go conservative on because I just want my guys to hang on to the ball and go down. I don't want guys in the middle of traffic trying a rack or aggressive catch. I think this is something that you might want to put on conservative, and I might put on conservative to myself, even though it's a decreased run after catch chance. I just want those 20 yards. All right, cornerback matchups. It's a good coaching adjustment where you can put your cornerbacks on different wide receivers based on different rule set. So you can set it by overall, so your highest rated corner against the highest rated receiver. That's pretty easiest. By speed, this one might be the move, just so you can get one fast corner. Then I don't know. I feel like this is more important for like draft champions. These options, and we'll get into more of the strategy after go through all of them. By height, tallest cornerback on tallest receiver. This would be good if you adjust to it in the red zone. So you can't get, I don't know. We'll see if the target passing adds any type of back shoulder fade to this game's meta. By route running, we'll see if route running is a big deal. In 18 and in 17, it wasn't that big of a deal, but they have put an increased emphasis on an 18. They've talked about on Twitter and in the blogs with the route running with the RB and Mutt squad. So it is transferred over to AI Control 2, I believe. By depth chart, now this might be the move. Now, matchup based on cornerbacks depth chart versus receivers overall rating. So we'll just read through this quick. By depth chart gives the user the ability to set specific cornerbacks to a specific receiver. For example, if a user wants their highest rated cornerback to match up versus second highest overall receiver, they can simply go to the team depth chart and place their highest rated cornerback in the CB2 slot. So what this kind of means is, like, in real life, you can kind of like chart these matchups where you can isolate one guy. So you can have your number one cornerback lock up their number two, because you've ideally got a skill gap difference between the two, and then you can shift coverage with your number two cornerback on their number one, then maybe double them up with like a safety or something over the top, and maybe like a box coverage or something. So make sure focus on number one with your CB2 and the safety. In Mutt, the receivers are very similarly skilled, so I don't know how much of a huge by depth chart type situation will be. I think by speed is the most important one for Mutt, just because there are some corner, like you don't want your Richard Sherman on a John Ross. You want your Richard Sherman on like a Vincent Jackson, and then you want your like Deion Sanders on John Ross to match strength versus strength. That's, in my opinion, what you want to do. So I think speed in Mutt is the way to go, but other modes like draft champions, CFM, that kind of stuff, depth chart might be what people do, and then rotate coverage on that. We'll see. I'm not so sold on that whole thing. I think this is gonna be it. All right, AI usage and game style. So this is for simulation only. AI can in simulation mode, they can make their own coach adjustments, and then they'll show a banner for which adjustments that they're making based on these certain situations. You can read that if you want to. I'm not going to get into it since it's not very germane to us, but I don't know. It's the computer making on-the-fly adjustments. Kind of cool. AI is getting smart. It's going to overtake us in a couple years, and we will be the slaves. So that is it. We're ending on a high note like that. Thanks for watching. Call to action. I will see you tomorrow.